Aesop stories.
Number 36. The Black Bird and the White Bird. Once upon a time, there was a black bird. He was a raven, with feathers as dark as night. One day, he saw a beautiful white bird. It was a swan, with feathers as white as snow. The raven looked at the swan and felt very jealous. How pretty the swan is with its white feathers, he thought. I wish I could be as white as the swan. He watched the swan swim in a lake. The swan's white feathers shone in the sunlight. The raven had an idea. Maybe the swan is white because it swims in the lake. If I swim like the swan, maybe I will become white too. So, the raven left his home. He used to live near some altars where he found food easily. But he didn't care about food anymore. He wanted to be white like the swan. He went to live in the lakes and pools. Every day, the raven swam in the water. He washed his feathers over and over again. But no matter how much he washed, his feathers stayed black. They did not turn white like the swan's. Time passed. The raven was so busy trying to change his color that he forgot to eat. He became very weak. Slowly, the raven realized something important. He could swim and wash his feathers all day, but he would always be a black raven. He could not change his nature. In the end, the raven was too weak from not eating. He understood that trying to be like the swan was a mistake. He wished he had been happy just being himself. But it was too late. This story teaches us that we cannot change who we are. It's important to be happy with ourselves. Number 37. The Shepherd and the Lost Goat. Once there was a shepherd. He had many goats, but one day, one goat wandered away. The shepherd wanted to bring the lost goat back to the flock. He called out to the goat. He whistled loudly. He even played his horn. But the goat did not listen. It kept eating grass and did not come back. The shepherd became worried. He thought, I must get the goat back before it gets dark. So, he picked up a stone and threw it at the goat, hoping to get its attention. But something went wrong. The stone hit the goat's horn. Crack! The horn broke. The shepherd felt very sorry. He ran to the goat and said, "Oh no. Please don't tell my boss about your broken horn. He will be very angry with me." The goat looked at the shepherd and said, "You don't need to worry about me telling your boss. My broken horn will show him what happened." The shepherd realized his mistake. He understood that he couldn't hide what he had done. The broken horn was clear evidence of his action. This story teaches us an important lesson. We should not try to hide things that cannot be hidden. It's always better to be honest and take responsibility for our actions. Number 38. The Man and His Gold. Once, there was a man who loved money more than anything else in the world. He was so afraid of spending it that he never bought anything nice for himself. Instead, he saved all his money. One day, he sold everything he owned. With that money, he bought a big piece of gold. He didn't want anyone to find it, so he dug a hole next to an old wall. He put the gold in the hole and covered it with dirt. Every day, he went to the hole. He dug up the gold, looked at it, and felt happy. Then, he buried it again and went home. But he didn't know that someone was watching. A worker saw him hide the gold. When the man went home, the worker came to the hole. He dug in the ground, found the gold, and took it away. The next day, the man came back. He dug the hole to see his gold, but it was gone. He was so sad that he started to cry very loudly. A neighbor heard him and came over. "Why are you so sad?" the neighbor asked. "I lost my gold. It was here, and now it's gone," the man cried. The neighbor thought for a moment. Then he said, "Why don't you put a rock in the hole? If you never used the gold, it's the same. You can pretend the rock is your gold." The man stopped crying. He thought about it. He realized he never used the gold. It was like he never had it at all. So he put a rock in the hole and went to look at it every day. And he learned that money is only good if you use it to make your life better. Number 39. The Clever Fox and the Old Lion. In the forest, there was an old lion. He was once strong and fierce, but now he was old and could not run or hunt. The old lion was hungry, and he needed to find food. He had an idea. He would act like he was very sick. He went back to his home, a big cave. He lay down, looking weak and ill. Soon, all the animals in the forest heard that the lion was sick. One by one, the animals came to visit him. They wanted to see if the lion was okay. But when they went inside the cave, the old lion ate them. Many animals disappeared this way. But there was one smart fox. He heard about the lion and thought something was wrong. He decided to visit the lion, but he was careful. When the fox came to the cave, he did not go inside. He stayed outside and called to the lion. "How are you feeling, Mr. Lion?" asked the fox. "I am not very well," said the lion. "But why don't you come in to talk to me?" The fox looked at the ground. He saw many footprints going into the cave, but none coming out. The fox knew what was happening. "Thank you, Mr. Lion, but I think I will stay here," said the fox. "I see that many animals go into your cave, but I don't see any come back out." The old lion was surprised. The fox was very clever to notice that. The fox knew it was dangerous to go inside the cave. The fox walked away, safe and sound. The old lion could not fool the smart fox. This story teaches us to be like the fox. We should learn from what happens to others. It's important to be careful and smart. Number 40. The Horse and His Caretaker. In a small village, there lived a horse and his caretaker. The caretaker's job was to look after the horse. Every day, he would brush the horse's shiny coat until it gleamed in the sunlight. He took great care to make sure the horse looked his best. But the caretaker had a secret. Although he made the horse look clean and healthy on the outside, he was not kind to the horse. Every morning, when it was time to feed the horse his oats, the caretaker took some for himself. He thought, the horse won't notice if just a little bit is missing. And so, he sold the oats to buy things for himself. The horse started to feel weak. He wasn't getting enough food. But he still had to work hard every day, carrying the caretaker around the village. One day, the horse had enough. He turned to the caretaker and said, "You brush my coat every day, but I am still not happy." The caretaker was surprised. "Why?" he asked. "You are the shiniest horse in the village." The horse sighed. It's not about how shiny my coat is, the horse explained. I need more oats to eat. If I don't eat, I can't be strong. The caretaker felt very sorry. He realized that he had been selfish. Taking care of the horse meant more than just making him look good. He needed to make sure the horse was fed and healthy. From that day on, the caretaker changed. He stopped taking the horse's oats for himself. Instead, he made sure the horse ate well every day. As time went by, the horse grew strong and healthy again. The caretaker learned a valuable lesson: to truly care for someone, you must look after their needs, not just their appearance. The horse and the caretaker became the best of friends, and they lived happily ever after.